What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about auction today. Bounce token at the request of Cowboy Up. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about the price here. So we're at about $14.27 right now. I'm going to move this. I don't know why it keeps wanting to move this way. The camera wants to move that way. I have no idea why. Anyways, enough about that. Auction here on a weekly basis. Let's just get an overall look at you. Yeah, you look like you're bouncing off of the lower ends of this downward sloping trend, right? You could find resistance at any given point. Just because your last area of resistance was up here doesn't mean you have to go all the way up here, right? In fact, you've actually found more resistance on this kind of trend-based level here. So something near to where you are. Of course, if you break out of that, that could be rather exciting, right? This was a false break. Maybe you get a real one this time. Who knows? If we're looking at the price here, by the way, I want to say auction. I think you're one of the only coins that are up today. You're only up 3%, but you're one of the only coins that's actually up today. That definitely looks like a low to me. The recovery seems to be right. Volume on point, right? Bouncing off the oversold zone here. Getting overbought, not getting oversold. I love it, man. Everything about this thing is bullish right now. From a low point here to a high point there, golden ratio bounce up above your 0.5, nice. You likely do find resistance at around 17 to 18 bucks right there. You probably pull back to about 13 bucks, prices that are lower than you are now, and then you continue to run up. That's my assumption, and that makes sense on a fib perspective. That also makes sense on a price perspective, because if you think about it, we're going to find resistance at this area. We'll get a higher low to bounce from. Like this one here, we had a higher low, but instead of bouncing and going up, we rejected. I think this higher low will promote growth, and it will be a real break. I don't think it'll take this long. I don't think we'll find our low and then bounce. It'll be May or June. No, I don't think that. I think it'll happen over the coming weeks. Who knows? By the end of this week, we really could be at 17 to 18 bucks. You're at 14.33 now, but I definitely do assume soon it could be here. Whether it's here or there, you will pull back, but it just determines wherever you pull back from. If it's here, you're going to pull back to about 13 bucks. If it's right here, right now, you're going to pull back to about 950, right? So that's kind of the difference there, because you'll need a higher low, but appropriate from wherever you're pulling back from. If you pull back from here too, you'd be rejecting the 50 off of the weekly RSI, and that would definitely be grounds for something back down to 950 at least, if not even lower than that. I do not think you're going lower than this low, though. Absolutely not. Let's see. Looking at the 1 hour, let's go from the weekly to the 1 hour. I'm going to get whiplash here, man. We're going to share in the whiplash, you guys. You are getting bearish divergence on the 1 hour, yes. Lower lows in the RSI, higher lows is hidden bullish divergence, to be fair. You're creeping up. You are, the volume here isn't as much as this, so it's like you're losing volume, quote unquote, but you're keeping up with the volume. I wouldn't say you're losing or gaining necessarily. It's just keeping, if anything, maybe you are gaining volume as you're moving higher. I would have expected that you find resistance here already. Like you had this divergence built up, and all you did was you went and you bounced off the 50, you got a lower low in the RSI with a higher low. Maybe you don't go lower, man. Maybe you are going higher. This is a good look. And overall, the 1 hour looks dominant as hell, man. It looks very, very bullish. From a high here, back on the 13th of February, to the low here, back on the 18th of February. Come on now. Let's get it. There we go. Come on, at the low there. You're crowding the 1272. Yes, okay. So undeniably, you're going to go to the 1618, if not higher. 1618 is $16. Higher than that would be the 1886, which is right there around 17 to 18 bucks, 786 to 200. That makes sense to me, man. Generally speaking, when you consolidate like this, you do one of two things. You either rip right up to your 618 and resist, or you rip right up to your 1886. Sometimes even all the way up to your 2272. But I think this, being that this is one of the three paths that you could really take, and it matches up with some areas we were looking at before on a larger fib, that makes sense to me. So 17 to 18 bucks looks like you're on the way. And being that you're on the 1 hour time frame with the current trajectory that you have, I mean, man, I would think that you're there over the coming days. Like by the end of this week, probably before Friday, right? It's Monday now, right? Or is it Sunday now? What? It's Monday. It's Monday now. Yeah. Sorry, I'm all over the place, you guys. Let's look at the 4 hour. I want to look at the 15-minute time frame real quick too. You just look like you're gonna move up, bro. You're so resilient. You look great. If you're not moving down while the rest of the market's moving down today, I'm not going to assume that you're just going to, I mean, you could drop at any given moment. It's very possible. You're pretty overbought on the 4 hour RSI, but that's not a bad thing. You can get more overboughter, right? And just because you get overbought and you come down doesn't mean you can't go back up, right? Look, here you were overbought. Whenever you came down, did you dump? No, you continued to trek your way upwards. But you are pretty overbought. You've been overbought for a little while, so that does make me think on a 1 hour basis, you could consolidate more maybe you do return to about 1350, something around 14 bucks, not that much lower from where you are now, before you progress higher. Maybe that's what you do, because I think the only problem I have with this is, as resilient as it looks, and it is very resilient, as strong as it does look, you haven't done anything yet. You've had all these hours in this strong position to do something good, and you didn't do anything yet. So I'm thinking you need to shake some people out, shake out the weak hands, load up the strong hands, and then move up. And it's not even going to be that big of a shakeout, right? Like something like this, it looks kind of intimidating on this chart overall, but for crypto, what is that? That's like a 10% drop, 13% drop. That ain't anything, man. That happened in like a day. Get over it. That's not a big deal at all. You can see the same exact thing happen here. Something that, again, I know I was calling for about 13.50, something that's below $14. You're at 14.25 now, but you could go all the way back down to 12.50. You could go lower than these lows, and then everything that I've said is still on point, right? I would expect that this crash probably happens similar to this. You're going to have the majority of it. It's going to look scary, and you'll stop, you'll round it out, and then you'll begin moving up again. And then after that, your 4-hour time frame will have had enough time to cool off, get out of the overbought zone. I don't assume that it'll go to the 50. I assume you'll maintain this kind of higher low structure. So that kind of maneuver where you get fresh out of the overbought zone and then come back into it, that tends to lead to very strong moves. Tends to, right? Here, you got out of the overbought zone, fresh out of it, and then back into it. Look at how strong of a move that was. Versus here, you were out of the overbought zone. It took a while. Well, I mean, I guess you didn't get to it here, but the move was still lackluster, right? Fresh out of it here and then back into it, but that was rather lackluster too, to be completely fair, with a pretty big blow off finish there. But yeah, I do think, all things considered, I do think that you go a little bit lower first and then up. Okay, and then up. And the only reason I'm considering that really is because how extended the 4-hour is. It could get higher. It definitely could. It doesn't have to stop here, but it looks to be an area that you do stop around. It looks to be at the higher ends of these limits here. No, that's not bearish divergence. That's not why I'm saying that. I think it would make sense to find a little bit of turbulence here. Let's see if we look at a high to low. Come on now. Come on now. There we go. High to low here. You get them high, hit them high, hit them high. Now hit them low. Come on, there, or maybe it's I hit them high, you hit them low. It's been a long time since I heard that song. I think it is I hit them high, you hit them low. 15 minutes, 72 cents, 17.27. No, not I said 15 minutes. $15 to $17. 15.72 to 17.27. And then 19.58. Man, I don't think it stops here. Right, pulling back to 13.40. Finding support on your 0.5 and then heading up to the golden ratio makes sense to me. I would think you do touch the top of this area. You don't stop at the golden ratio, or you might even break out. This fib, if anything, is more of a sign to me that you really could see about 20 bucks before seeing any kind of more significant consolidation. And when I say significant, I just mean something like this, right? It's not nothing crazy, right? What I'm calling for you to consolidate for now, that's not even going to be significant as like this was, right? Nothing crazy like this. I mean, maybe it could be something more significant like that, but I would think that this move keeps going all in all over the next couple days or few days. I think it does keep going all in all until you're above 17 bucks or around 20 bucks, something like that. If I'm wrong, I think you'd only go higher, or of course you could just plummet to the depths, but I don't think you will. I really do think this thing looks good. There's a statement to be made while the rest of the market is dumping that you're pumping. That's definitely says something about you, and that's a V-shaped recovery, hands down. V-shaped recovery coming off the bottom of this range here, looking good, looking ferocious. I think this thing has a lot of room to go. So let's talk about that. Right, on the upside, on the does it let me do this? Let's see. Yeah, the upside potential for this thing from a high here to a low there, whenever you do decide to break out, whenever you finally decide to see higher prices, and you will, I think you'll be on a mission that takes you to new all-time highs. So you're going to be at something that's at like 82 bucks from the current price, let alone if it goes lower. That'll be a 467% move, and potentially at the most, you'll see something around 11x. $81 to $160 sounds about right to me. I think this is where you will be by the end of this next move on a weekly basis. So like this move here, how you moved up, and then that was your top, and then you consolidated for all these months afterwards. I think your next move up, where it tops off, will be around 81 to 160. And if I had to guess, I would think you do go above 100 bucks. You might reach 160. Hell, you could go higher than that, but I think something probably between 110 to 160 is the most likely. $81, you could find resistance there. Just be prepared for that, and that's still fine. That's like a 5.5x. That's okay. But if you want those bigger numbers, you're definitely going to want to see prices above 100 bucks, and I think you do. I think you get there. That's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. If auction decides to just keep running up and not move down, that wouldn't necessarily surprise me, but I would, if I had to give it one way or another what my thoughts are. I think you do pull back a little bit, probably Probably around 1350 or lower. That's my thoughts. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.